carry out its responsibilities, the board relies on a number of procedural mechanisms in order to conduct its business and ensure effective decision-making.
Every commission is required by the Regional Service Delivery Act to have a procedural bylaw outlining how it is to operate. The board is responsible for enacting it.
Clearly written and well understood bylaws ensure business of the Commission is conducted in an orderly and professional manner. Some examples of items dealt with under bylaws include meeting procedures, the election and terms of board officers, committee structures, the calling of special and emergency meetings, voting at meetings.
It's essential for board members to become familiar with the procedural bylaw of their commission. The board also should review the procedural bylaw every 3 to 4 years to ensure its effectiveness. The board is required to meet at least 4 times each year and can choose to meet more frequently. The board's decision on how often it will hold regular meetings needs to be reflected in the procedural bylaw.
All board meetings must be open to the public. However, a meeting or part of a meeting may be closed to the public if it discusses an item listed in subsection 10(2)(4) of the Municipalities Act.
Those items are confidential matters known as the 3 L's: land, labor, and litigation.
Because these matters are confidential and have potential legal implications, it's important the information is not revealed outside of the meeting.
Regular board meetings are held at regularly scheduled times throughout the year. The schedule is made public on the Commission's website.
Sometimes issues arise that need immediate attention or need extensive discussion that would take up too much time at a regular meeting. In these cases, a special meeting can be called. The public must be notified of these meetings in accordance with the Commission's procedural bylaw. All board decisions must be made at either a regular or special meeting.
From time to time, board members may need to meet outside of regularly scheduled or special meetings. Reasons could include working on developing the strategic plan, brainstorming sessions, training or information sessions, or meetings with government officials. These ad hoc meetings do not have to be open to the public.
Board decisions can't be made at these types of meetings, but recommendations can be developed and brought forward at a regular or special board meeting. The board can form committees to deal with issues that are too complex to be handled by the entire board. These committees are made up of board members and are mandated to carry out specified functions, programs, or projects assigned by the board. Board committee meetings must be open to the public.
While committees can't make decisions, their deliberations often result in recommendations for a certain decision of the full board. Boards should recognize the work done by committees and not attempt to duplicate it at the board table.
Standing committees are established for ongoing major activities. Typical standing committees for commission boards include budget or finance committees, planning management committees, and solid waste management committees. Every commission is required to establish a planning review and adjustment committee to make planning-related decisions as specified in the Community Planning Act.
Additional special or ad hoc committees of the board may be established for short-term activities. These committees cease when the activities are completed.
Each board should assess its committee structure from time to time to make sure it's effective. This means evaluating the necessity of each committee, the costs of conducting committee business, and what impact any changes to the structure would have on accountability and transparency.
All board decisions must be made using motions and resolutions. A motion is a suggestion put forward by a board member to undertake a particular action. That motion turns into a resolution when the board members vote to accept the motion. All board decisions, including directives to the executive director, must take the form of a resolution and be shown in the meeting minutes. Using this method makes sure that there is a clear record of decisions, limiting confusion in the future.
For most decisions, a simple majority of the board members present is needed to vote in favor. However, there are special decisions that require a larger share of the vote. These include adopting annual budgets, establishing service fees, and undertaking long-term borrowing.
In these cases, approval requires at least 2/3 of the number of members present, and those members must represent at least 2/3 of the total population represented by all of the board members present.
Commissions require decisions about how to spend considerable amounts of money. There may be times when board members or senior staff members are in a conflict of interest. This means that their personal, family, or corporate interests relate to an activity of the Commission and could possibly influence, or be seen to influence, a decision they need to make in the Commission role.
It is not wrong to have a conflict of interest. It is wrong to participate in decisions that relate to that area of conflict, or to personally benefit from the decision. You must make it known if you have a conflict of interest. To find out what situations are considered to be a conflict of interest, see Section 21 of the General Regulation under the Regional Service Delivery Act.
When a board member has a conflict and a matter related to the area will be discussed at a meeting, the member must disclose the conflict as soon as the matter is introduced. They must then immediately leave the room so that they don't participate or influence the discussion.
It is each person's obligation to identify and declare their own conflicts. It is not the role of staff or other board members to do so.
Board members and employees may not accept gifts or other benefits that could be seen to influence their decisions related to the Commission. They also may not use their position or privileged information they have due to their position for their own or a family member's personal gain.
The mechanisms and procedures we've described are the backbone of conducting the business of the board. When members are well informed of these elements, they can help the board run efficiently and effectively.